May the 4th be with you. And as always, Star Wars drops some interesting shorts on our favorite holiday. Let's talk about them. All right, guys, Brent here back for Geek Variants. Cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, Star Wars Tales of the Underworld. And as always, this feels like it was just something that's more obligatory than something that Disney actively decided we should kind of actually put out there. They don't really promote very well for their upcoming shows, especially in Star Wars nowadays. At the same time, it feels like this is more of a chore for them than actually putting out something that's overall their heart's really in it. Like, out of all the Asajj Ventress stuff we have, it felt very limped in. Like they put maybe 20% of their effort into that and 80% over into Cad Bane because Dave Filoni is famously a huge fan of everything that Cad Bane has to offer to the Star Wars universe. So it's definitely interesting to see them kind of put more in stock in that than what we have over here. Because if you've been following Disney for any period of time ever since they have bought, Star Wars, they have been trying desperately and exceptionally hard in order to put a strong female character on screen. And they've gone new, they've gone original, they pulled out old school, haven't really had much success, so to speak. So the fact that at this time they would have Asajj drop, who is a beloved character in the franchise, who does not get nearly the credit or recognition she deserves, especially as far concerning her accolades, her prowess, how she carries herself, how she handles her business, not properly done, feels weird for Disney, so to speak, because she is everything that they're looking for. Like, as far as fan reaction, remember when they dropped that Maul is getting his own special show? Remember, no one's talking about Maul. They're talking about Darth Talon. They desperately yearn and crave for that strong character who can both use the force, handle their business on their own, and still believe that this is a character who is just this way naturally, as opposed to someone that is being kind of propped up into a certain position. And Asajj fits that bill. She was Count Dooku's number one apprentice. She was his number one assassin. She went toe to toe with Anakin and Obi-Wan on multiple occasions. She has had, a couple cameos, whether it's in Bad Batch or now this. And we've seen that she just continually brought back and then just kind of cast off immediately, brought back, cast off immediately, and kind of rinse, wash, and repeat when she should at this point just be given her own show. Like, I'm not really sure what to do with her, and that may be Disney's whole issue with it. But there is so much material that she can really work with. Like even just having her go back to Dathomir and trying to reconnect with her sisters and trying to discover more about who she is, ultimately coming around to helping the rebellion in some way, shape, or form, only to be unnecessarily cut down as the rebellion is starting to get up. And she's kind of like a person who moves behind the scenes in the shadows, kind of the way Ahsoka is, because those two are the two perfect parallels of yin and yang. Ahsoka was for the light, Ventress was for the dark. They both eventually strayed into the center where they were gray, and now it's just kind of this weird myriad of what exactly are they. And Ventress, for all intents and purposes, as long as we keep seeing Mother Talzin, I'm very happy. And now we're starting to see more that Talzin is exactly the threat that Palpatine thought she was. It's providing Sidious that extra recognition that he is that individual who can scout talent and is afraid of the correct people at the correct times, because Mother Talzin ain't no joke. She's been dead for a long, long time, and yet she was just able to go, "Hey, Asajj, you want to come back from the dead? Because here you go." And they explained how, and it's a believable manner because Talzin's always been about that action. Anytime witch magic is involved in Star Wars, things work. Now switching to our favorite renegade bounty hunter. Sometimes, in most cases, I should say, having a character with mysterious backstory, it's best to leave it as such. I think in this instance, that Cad having some of his backstory, or Colby, I should say, fleshed out, is a good thing. It's nice to see that Cad kind of had a tough upbringing. he didn't really come up on his luck. He just ran into an individual named Laszlo who kind of raised him properly as far as his business motives, his ethic. He got the hat from him, he got the toothpick from him. Like literally, he's just mimicking his idol, but he just did it on such a grand scale. The galaxy had to pay attention. This is one of the few bounty hunters who's ever gone toe to toe with Jedi and won and lived to tell the tale several times over. Because he had Anakin and Obi-Wan in a blender for a long period of time, and this guy is just him. And obviously, anytime Dave Filoni is going to get the chance to do a Western style shootout from one end to the other on a quick draw, he's going to do it, because this happened like 2 times in 3 episodes. Like, just tell me you're going to keep taking that chance. And it was a compelling story as far as Cad was concerned. He had that tough upbringing. His friend eventually got nicked on a job that went poorly. So his friend Nero got arrested. And then, Cad ended up fleeing the planet. Cad got raised in the world of crime. Nero, on the other hand, got raised by the police. The police kind of raised him up. Next thing you know, he was a deputy. And then next thing you know, he's a marshal. And he's just working his way up in this world, where Cad was working his way up in the underworld, slowly asserting himself as that bounty hunter no one wants any business to do with, unless you're just trying to make gold and you don't really care about, the morals or the motive behind it. You're just trying to make, that quick buck. And we see that Erin turned out to be this pivotal figure involving their lives, as she was Cad's first real love interest. And ultimately, she, for all intents and purposes, for what I'm believing, based upon what we've seen on screen, was carrying Cad's child. So they had a very, very romantic relationship, but things kind of turned awful on the day that Cad went back to be personal and get his revenge against Nero for offing his friend that, was Laszlo, his mentor. Turns out the marshal did it, but, Nero is obviously going to be complicit because that's his boss. So as things kind of played out, we see that Cad was able to get the victory first off over Laszlo. Well, not over Laszlo, over the marshal. And then we saw that Nero was going to go ahead and, do a quick draw with him right then and there, only to find out that Erin had pulled his blaster, slid it out of the way, and was like, look, we can do better than this. We shouldn't be about this. This isn't the life that I want for us. And she ultimately, got called a traitor by Cad. And then come to find out a couple years later that, hey, she not only had the kid, but the kid's Cad's. But Nero decided to raise the kid as exactly as his own. And it's not every day you get to see, your adoptive father who's raised you with nothing but love and care versus your biological father who, for all intents and purposes, unknowingly is just now a kind of a deadbeat dad because he had no idea the kid was his. And now he's going to absolutely do nothing to do with him because we never saw him on any missions or anything involving him. But it doesn't even nice little trail of breadcrumbs should Filoni decide, what, maybe Cad's kid decides to follow in his path, so we can kind of pull on this string and see, kind of where things can go, because any excuse for him to put a bounty hunter in something, Dave Filoni is going to jump on that opportunity because that's just who he is. That's just how he operates. Overall, the Cad episodes were far better. I think the Asajj Ventress episodes were mailed in. Typical, just May the 4th stuff. I was hoping for a little bit more than what we got. But at the same time, I feel satisfied. I don't want to sit here and get on a soapbox and really whine or whinge about this kind of material. I'm just happy that it's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you all. And be sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not already, as it's entirely free, greatly helps us out, and it helps YouTube suggest our videos for you moving forward, as well as just hitting that like button. I'm Brent for Geek Variants. We'll see you in the next episode.